So guys, let's talk about some perspectives on building our businesses for the sake of contribution. Because we talk about Mary Kay Ash and the intention of why she started this. It is all for the sake of the intention and the benefit of other women. She started it for all of us, not for her. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of perspective from when I first saw the marketing plan, and then we're going to go into the benefits of the women that you're introducing to the business and making sure that they're setting themselves up for success. So when I was first exposed to the marketing plan, the very first person I took the marketing plan to was my dad. And the reason why is because he was an entrepreneur and he owned his own business and he was a big thinker. And I grabbed my little sheet of paper and I went through how the marketing plan worked, and this is what he said to me. He said, okay, so you're showing me that you make 50% when you sell the product. So you buy the product for $1 and you sell it for $2. You buy it for $100, you sell it for $200. That means you're making money. He said, this marketing plan was put together for the sake of you making money. You're actually going to make a lot of money because of this marketing plan. He said, this woman, Mary Kay Ash, you could have made 20%, you could have made 30%, but 50% is almost unheard of. And the fact that that's what she wanted to do, then she was not starting this company for the sake of her or for the sake of a company. She was starting it for the sake of the women that she intended to have benefit from this business. Now, so then he said, this was the other interesting thing. I drew out that dollar bill, and half of it is your profit and the other half is the company's profit. And then other streams of income that are available are that you get to team build. And when you team build, you're making a commission. So every time the women on your team order product from the company and then they sell it and make profit, and then they purchase it, and then they sell it, and they make profit. But every time they purchase it, then the company is going to send you a check, and the check will be for 4% or 9% or 13%. And then there's bonuses, and then when you're a director, it's another 13% and bigger bonuses. And those are other streams of income that come in, and it comes out of the company's profit to do that. So as he was looking at that, he said, look at how much money this company pumps back into the sales force, and what a small sliver they actually run the company on. So that is telling me, these were my father's words, that this woman who started this company was amazingly generous. And if this marketing plan stays as good as it is right now, he said to me, this is my best advice, Stacy, is for you to give this all you've got and then don't ever quit. So understanding that when you sell that product and you make 50%, that's not the only aspect of where income is going to come in for you. You sell the product, you build a team, and then you can become a leader and a director, and then there's a whole nother level, and you become a national sales director, and you're helping women become the best leaders they can be, and there's a whole nother level of income. The more that you advance in your business and you multiply your business, the higher levels of income that you're going to be making. Now, we're going to take you back to Daylene White. I love this story, and I was told this story. So the authenticity is what has been told over the years. But when Mary Kay started, she had a storefront where she sold wigs in a mall, and they had all the Mary Kay products in the back of that storefront. And so the consultants would come in, they would have sold the product at a party, they would come in, they'd get their orders filled. So Daylene White was our very first consultant in our company. She would go to Richard Rogers, who is Mary Kay's son, who created our marketing plan, and she would get the products that she just sold. She would pay the money, get the products that she just sold, and she would take it back and deliver it to the women that she just sold it to. So half of it was her profit, the other half she purchased the products with. Now, she did it that way and did it that way, then did it that way, and then she had a party that was out of town. So she went to Richard and she said, why could I just not buy a whole bunch of products and I could take them with me, and then when they purchase the product from me, I can just give it all to them right there, and I could collect the money and have my profit and not have to backtrack and deliver product to everybody. I don't have to come back here, then buy the product, then deliver it to all of them. And he thought that was brilliant. She thought that was brilliant. And that is how inventory was born. It was born out of understanding if you're really going to start a business, having the product on hand means that you're working smarter instead of harder. And Karen told me when she was my director when I started in Mary Kay, she said, Stacy, when you start this business, you can start this business with a hobby mentality and hobby hours. But you could continue doing hobby hours, but shift your mentality to be a business mentality, and then you're going to make so much more money, and you're going to be so much more effective. And this is going to build a very lucrative business. So I understood that concept. So when I started building my team, my intention of building my team was to show those women who are coming on my team how they could work smart instead of hard, and how they could do this part-time, and they could build such an amazing business that they could someday be matching their full-time income with their part-time Mary Kay business, which is exactly what I did, except I did it really fast. I did it my very first month. And then after a few months, made that decision to walk away from that full-time position and pursue my Mary Kay business as my career. But here's the deal. When we have goals, such as becoming a red jacket or a team leader, being on target for our car, the production that we have is what generates the qualifications. So if we're going to go on target for a car, we want our team of 5 women, and there's a certain amount of production that we need in order to bring that about. So we look at, well, if those women start their businesses with inventory, if they start with star levels of inventory, then that production is going to count for me, and I'm going to be paid a commission on that production. But this is what I want to make sure we understand. The reason why women start their business with inventory is not for our benefit. They start this business with inventory for their benefit. That's number one important. Number two important is that sometimes we don't start people with inventory. And the reason why we don't is because we feel we're uncomfortable. We think it's going to be a hindrance. We think it's going to be a risk for them. We think that they're going to be scared or concerned or feel like it's too much, overwhelmed. But here's the important aspect. The concept of abundance and the opportunity to take advantage of the potential of this company and make as much money as possible with the amount of time that you're putting into your business. You want to set yourself up to have all the odds in your favor. You want to work from a standpoint that your time is highly valuable. So in my situation, I wanted to recruit women for them to start with product because I knew they were going to make money right away. Because let's talk about this for a minute. If you start somebody with a $225 order, that's an active order. In fact, when I was a consultant and a new director, I didn't even entertain that word, active order, because it doesn't even make somebody active. They come in with $225 worth of product, and what do you do with that? You use it. That's about the only place you can go with that one. If you come in with $600 worth of inventory, you're really going to not have enough product to do one party, because you can't put together 3 roll-up bags with that amount of product, and there's going to be lots of bits and pieces that you don't have that you would need. So if you're giving someone advice to start their business with less than a profit level or a star amount of inventory on hand, then basically you're handicapping them. Basically you're setting them up for putting in more effort, more time, more work for the amount of money when they could actually be putting in less time and be way more effective. So in my situation, I was doing those 3 parties on a Sunday. I sold that product on Sunday. I provided that product to them. I made my profit in my pocket immediately, and those women got to go home and use that product immediately. And they would more readily book appointments with me for the next week because there was more that they wanted to have, so they wanted to earn hostess credit. And they knew that I had that product on hand, so they would be able to get it next weekend when they booked with me. But in addition to that, I was in a position where I didn't have to go home, place an order, wait for the order to come in, and then deliver that product all over the place in Omaha, Nebraska to those women. All of that time, All of those steps, I wouldn't have made any more money for taking all of that time, all of those steps. Being able to provide it for them right there was highly beneficial. And it allowed my business to start to flow instead of stop and start and stop and start. So when you do start with a lower amount of inventory, or you suggest for someone to do that, sometimes we think they're risking less when actually they're risking more. They're risking more. And they're setting themselves up so that if it becomes too frustrating or too challenging, or let's think of this thought. They do a party and they go home to their husband and he said, how much did you sell? And he said, $300. And he said, how much is ours? Like, how much money did you make? Well, I made $150, but I can't have it right now because I need to take that $150 and I need to reinvest it in my product because I can't forever be running my business without product on hand. So I need to reinvest it and build that product on my shelf. So that means you're going to be taking a lot of time building product on your shelf and not having the cash in your hand. So let's come right back down to the common denominator. The common denominator is the intention for this company that Mary Kay created was for us to make money, to have a viable business that was going to change our financial situation. I would have never been able to pay off all of our debt in 6 months' time had I not been able to make the income that I did or have the product that I had on my shelf that made that possible. So the intention was for us to make money. The intention when we build our team is for those women to have the same opportunity that we have to be able to make that kind of income. We want to set them up for success. We don't want to set them up for frustration. So let's talk about the abundant mentality of all of us having an opportunity to tap into the true potential that lies ahead with this business.